Now, Fred, can I say how much I appreciate you allowing me to do this interview?
Oh, it's fine.
And I have to say that in company with me today is John Pollock, whose father was one of your fellow officers up on the Burma-Thailand Railway.
Yes.
And I need to explain that we did an interview 2 or 3 years ago, but we didn't actually, we ran out of time, and I'd like to now concentrate on the time that you spent in Thailand, and sometimes we won't be able to be precise to dates, and that doesn't matter. It's more to have an idea of what occurred.
Yes, a daily life.
So maybe you could tell us, as best as you recall, that when you went from Singapore to Thailand and the location where you first stopped.
Yes, well, we went on those infamous iron trucks, 30 packed into each, and that was the most uncomfortable journey you can imagine. It was impossible by day to get near the sides of the steel canister we were in, and at night, of course, it was just freezing cold. There was a nip guard to every third truck, I think. We stopped occasionally, but only on special occasions were we allowed out. And we had, I think it was 2 or 3 stops for rice during that time. There was one colourful incident when someone fell asleep, and he rode at the entrance with his legs hanging out. And in Malaya, the viaducts you go over, because these trucks were only a metre gauge, they were very narrow little bridges, and he hurt himself very badly. But nothing could be done, you see. There was no contact until we stopped the next time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, you know, rather nasty incident.
Do you remember the stop when you were at Kuala Lumpur?
I remember we only stopped for about an hour, I suppose, at Kuala Lumpur, and everyone rushed out and made themselves comfortable, is the best expression.
Well, maybe you should explain that, because I'm sure it wasn't meaning sitting down in a lounge chair.
No, the previous occasions when they stopped to give us rice or some water, you know, we'd all jumped out and gone into the bush and done it. This time I remember well, most people deposited on the railway lines.
Yes, yeah.
As a feeling. But in those days, Kuala Lumpur was nothing. It was just a few minarets, and so it was back again, speedo on, back into the packed up in the steel trucks and off again. I can remember seeing one train. That's the last female I saw, and it was full of Japanese women in Kuala Lumpur rail yards. And then off we went into Thailand.
And what was your first camp?
Bampong. No, it was Bampong.
Was it Bampong or Non Pladuk? Which?
Bampong. This was the camp that the Nips had carefully said originally in Singapore. We were going to a wonderful camp, which to everyone's surprise turned out to be just literally, you know, a field of mud. But they had promised us land of milk and honey.
Yes.
It sounded as though we were going to one of these sort of holiday camps.
How many days would you have been there?
Not many. It was too terrible to be in, really. I suppose at most a week in Bampong.
Now, did you say, is this October or is it June? When?
This was pouring with rain.
Which month was it?
No idea, can't remember. But it was just thick black mud. Appalling conditions. Very little, sanitation or cesspits. And we found an old hut, no floor, which was used as they dumped vegetables and rice sacks and that in it, and we cleared that out and used it for the time we were there, but nothing was being done, built or cleaned or anything. It was a very, very filthy camp.
And who was taking the lead, who was making the decisions when you were in that camp?
I can't remember there being any overall, we weren't met except by the Japs.
Well, you as an officer, were you making decisions and taking the initiative? See,
we went up with what was left of our battalion complete, and we acted as a battalion. Who were left went in as companies and all that and kept together. So you could say, in fact, that our colonel would be taking decisions and making them.
And who was that?
That was Louis Baker, first class man. He was a regular.
Yes.
Been through the First World War. I couldn't have been luckier to have had a better man.
Yes. So where did you go to after Bampong?
Then we had a hell of a walk up, and we went then. My memory serves me, I went to Chung Kai as the next big camp.
Yes. Yeah. Now, in Chung Kai, what work was being done?
Oh, we were on the railway proper.
Yes.
Yes. The main part was clearing the trace that the Nip engineers had put out, and digging ditches either side, and generally levelling the width of the trace, which meant sometimes clearing all sorts of size gullies, either filling or digging it out.
So did you work on what is commonly known as tronchi cutting yourself?
Oh yes.
Quite a well, there's two cuttings, aren't there?
Yes.
They're separated by...
we were on the main one, which when we arrived, was just a hill.
Yes.
And they traced it out, and we would dig all day and move stones, and they would have a party drilling and putting explosives in, and then every evening about 4 o'clock they would blow a bugle or something and blow the whole lot up, and then we'd have to race in and start with these little baskets, filling up stonework, carrying them on our shoulders and piling them up and making false embankments either side. And of course you imagine it was quite a hill when we arrived. There were enormous amount had to be removed to get the rail trace out.
And that's right beside the river, isn't it?
It's very near.
That spot.
Yeah. And the Nip engineers, of course, were working ahead of us.
Yes.
I think there are little flags or posts they put in.